观众朋友们好，现在是美国东部时间3月11日，这里是华尔街网报当日第2期节目。现在我们继续为您带来的是俄乌局势的最新进展。在今天上午，美国总统拜登表示，如果俄罗斯在乌克兰使用化学武器，俄罗斯将付出严重代价。此前，华尔街网报向您介绍，俄罗斯官员表示，美国正在资助乌克兰生物战努力，引起了西方官员的担忧。他们担心这些指控可能成为俄罗斯释放化学或生物武器的借口。拜登总统周五在白宫时表示，我并不打算谈论接受到的具体情报，但是如果俄罗斯使用化学武器，他们将付出沉重的代价。而在同一期演讲中，拜登总统还宣布了对于俄罗斯的更多的经济制裁。白宫方面表示，将撤销与俄罗斯的永久正常贸易关系，禁止进口俄罗斯的酒类、海产品和钻石，并禁止向俄罗斯出口任何奢侈品。同时，白宫表示，拜登总统将签署行政命令，禁止对俄罗斯经济任何部门进行投资。此前，俄罗斯轰炸了白俄罗斯的几处定居地点。乌克兰方面表示，这是企图嫁祸乌克兰，然后借机让白俄正式参战的信号。俄罗斯外交部则强调，中情局正在与乌克兰极端分子协调对平民使用化学武器，这被认为是化学武器战风险升级的信号。联合国人权办公室则在今天表示，收到了有关于俄罗斯军队在乌克兰人口密集地使用极速炸弹的积极可靠报告，并表示不加区别的使用这种武器可能构成战争罪。根据来自《华尔街日报》的报道，联合国机构在该国有几十位监督员。一旦设在日内瓦的安理会为调查可能的战争罪而设立的委员会开始运作，预计会有更多的监督员前来。该机构已经确认，自从2月24日俄罗斯入侵以来，乌克兰至少平民死亡人数达到549人，但是普遍预期实际数字可能高得很多。联合国发言人在日内瓦告诉记者，由于其广泛的区域毁坏效应，在居民区内使用极速炸弹不符合规范敌对行动的国际人道主义法律原则。我们提醒俄罗斯当局，直接攻击平民和民用物体，以及在城镇和村庄进行所谓的区域轰炸和其他形式的不分青红皂白的袭击，都是国际法所禁止的，可能构成战争罪。所谓的极速炸弹是由一个在半空爆炸的空心弹组成，在大范围内分散出几十个甚至几百个较小的弹丸。俄罗斯并不是2008年禁止极速弹药公约的缔约国，但是受到国际人道主义法律的约束，特别是有关于禁止无差别袭击的相关规定。乌克兰在周五指责俄罗斯军队袭击了其东部城镇附近的一家精神病院。世卫组织的数据库显示，自从俄罗斯入侵以来，迄今已经有27起已经证实的对于医院等保健中心的袭击，但是没有具体指明肇事者的名字。而此前，俄罗斯则宣布，脸书是颠覆组织，有可能脸书以及旗下服务，包括 Instagram 即将受到限制，甚至是完全封杀。俄罗斯总统普京下令准备在现已停产的切尔诺贝利核电站进行恐怖袭击。目前该指控并没有得到证实，而乌克兰官员已就核电站发出了其他严厉警告。本周乌克兰方面警告表示，切尔诺贝利电力损失带来了迫在眉睫的危险。尽管如此，美国方面警告表示，俄罗斯可能会出现假旗事件，也就是发动袭击并试图将其归咎于乌克兰。根据来自《纽约时报》的整理报道，切尔诺贝利自战争的头几天以来一直在俄罗斯军队的控制之下，而乌克兰在周五的声明中表示，他们认为俄罗斯破坏者冒充电力维修工人进入了工厂。乌克兰方面的声明说，他们将试图在俄罗斯控制的切尔诺贝利核电站制造一场人为的灾难，然后指责乌克兰为此负责。与此同时，由于俄罗斯最近要求将其乌克兰战争而受到的制裁排除在与伊朗的交易之外，关于恢复与伊朗2015年核协议的谈判在今天正式暂停了。根据来自《纽约时报》的报道，欧洲官员表示担心暂停可能会成为使美国和伊朗重新遵守协议的努力的丧钟。该协议对伊朗的核计划做出了重要限制，同时取消了美国对伊朗实施惩罚性经济制裁。再要为您关注到的是来自《华尔街日报》的报道。文章介绍，在奥斯陆市中心的俄罗斯大使馆前十字路口在今天有了一个新名字——乌克兰广场。社区议员表示，我们想通过此举发表声明，我们认为俄罗斯的行动是完全不可接受的。 随着俄罗斯大使馆成为欧洲和世界各地抗议普京的焦点，有一些欧洲城市的官员正通过改变街道名称来表达他们对入侵乌克兰的愤怒。根据来自《华尔街日报》的报道，在立陶宛的首都维尔纽斯，市长表示，周三通往俄罗斯大使馆的无名街道将被正式命名为乌克兰英雄街。他说，如果不使用新的地址，邮件就送不到俄罗斯大使馆。他说，每个想给俄罗斯大使馆写信的人都要想到俄罗斯侵略的受害者和乌克兰们的英雄们。而同时，阿尔巴尼亚首都则表示，将把俄罗斯大使馆所在的街道命名为自由乌克兰。俄罗斯驻里加大使馆现在地点将位于乌克兰独立街。在哥本哈根，市政府官员下周将讨论是否把俄罗斯大使馆所在的街道改为乌克兰大道。在英国，立法者正游说将俄罗斯驻伦敦大使馆的街道地址改为泽伦斯基大道。泽伦斯基此前在本周在英国下议院的讲话中表示，永远不会向俄罗斯军队投降。自由民主党外交事务发言人莫兰表示，英国要利用一切可能的机会对普京进行羞辱。普京在今天则表示，俄罗斯与乌克兰的会谈出现了某一些积极的转变，这是他在克里姆林宫与白俄罗斯总统卢卡申科的会议时上所表达的内容。他说，俄罗斯代表向他报告，谈判进程取得了一些进展，实际上每天都在继续，但是没有具体说明情况。而美国副总统贺锦丽则在今天的演讲中表示，普京根本没有和平的意愿。欧盟外交政策负责人博雷尔今天表示，尽管有关于伊核的新协议基本已经准备就绪并摆在桌面上，但是主导恢复2015年伊核谈判的欧盟还是呼吁暂停谈判，原因是外部因素。华尔街日报表示，五角大楼正考虑向乌克兰转让更远距离的防空系统，包括北约方面所说的 SA-8 和 SA-10， 它们可以在更高的高度瞄准飞机，这将使得俄罗斯更难建立对乌克兰的空中优势。同时，由于俄罗斯继续入侵乌克兰，欧盟领导人在今天承诺加强对欧盟国防和能源部门的投资。现在，欧盟领导人在巴黎附近的凡尔赛宫已经举行了为期2天的峰会，他们表示已经授权欧盟委员会评估所需投资。马克龙在与冯德莱恩和欧洲理事会主席米歇尔举行的新闻发布会上表示，我们需要有勇气做出历史性决定。现在马克龙担任欧洲轮值主席，长期以来一直推动欧洲在与美国组成的跨大西洋联盟中，在自己的防御方面发挥更大的作用。同时，俄罗斯对乌克兰的入侵也突出了欧洲对能源进口的依赖。去年，俄罗斯占到了欧盟天然气消费的40%左右。欧盟面临的压力是，如果俄罗斯的供应被切断，无论是莫斯科还是由于穿越乌克兰的管道被破坏，欧盟必须拿出一个计划来度过冬天。马克龙表示，随着乌克兰战斗的加剧，欧洲准备对俄罗斯采取更新的制裁措施。他说，现在所有的选项都在桌面上。迄今为止，欧盟已经对俄罗斯采取了3轮制裁措施，包括金融制裁、针对俄罗斯高级官员的制裁，以及禁止对俄罗斯的各种出口。同时，根据联合国粮食机构的说法，由于俄罗斯入侵乌克兰，在今年和2023年，全世界可能有多达1300万人面临粮食匮乏，而国际粮食和动物饲料的价格可能上涨22%。根据来自《华尔街日报》的报道，俄罗斯是世界上最大的小麦出口国，乌克兰则是第5大出口国，两国一共提供了全球谷物出口1/3以上。粮农组织在报告中表示，战争造成的大规模人口迁移可能使得乌克兰今年无法收获作物，而俄罗斯明年的出口前景仍不确定。粮农组织表示，这种影响可能导致营养不良问题的上升，特别是在亚太地区，其次是撒哈拉以南的非洲、中东和北非。报告表示，巴基斯坦和孟加拉国是亚洲中风险最大的国家。粮农组织总干事表示，2个主要的商品出口国的农业活动已经受到干扰，而在国际粮食和投入价格已经很高而且不稳定的情况下，这可能会进一步严重加剧全球粮食不安全。而同时，泽伦斯基的副幕僚长则发布紧急消息，称根据初步信息，梅利托波尔市长费多罗夫现已被俄罗斯军队绑架，但是没有透露更多情况。
Будемо займатися зачисткою одного із сіл, в якому зараз знаходяться орки з броньованою технікою. По даним розвідки, до батальйону.
Гасити гадів за Маріуполь всіх. Під ноль. Множимо на ноль.
Продовжуйте наступ, закріпляйтеся на блокпосту. Ще раз повтори. Два останні.
We're going to hit Putin harder because the United States and our closest allies and partners are acting in unison. The totality of our sanctions and export controls is crushing the Russian economy. The ruble has lost more than half its value. They tell me it takes about 200 rubles to equal $1 these days. Moscow Stock Exchange has been closed for 2 weeks because they know the moment it opens, it will probably collapse. Credit rating agencies has downgraded Russia's government to junk status, its economy to junk status. The list of businesses, international corporations leaving Russia is growing by the day. We're also continuing to close corporations with allies and partners to make sure that the close cooperation we continue to have, the Ukrainian people are able to defend their own nation. The United States has sent more than $1 billion in security assistance to Ukraine over the last year. And I also want to be clear, though. We will make sure Ukraine has weapons to defend against an invading Russian force. We will send money and food and aid to save the Ukrainian people. And I will welcome Ukrainian refugees. We should welcome them here with open arms if they need access. And we're going to provide more support for Ukraine. We're going to continue to stand together with our allies in Europe and send unmistakable message. We'll defend every single inch of NATO territory with the full might of the united and galvanized NATO. We will not fight a war against Russia in Ukraine. Direct confrontation between NATO and Russia is World War III, something we must strive to prevent. But we already know Putin's war against Ukraine will never be a victory. He hoped to dominate Ukraine without a fight. He failed. He hoped to fracture European resolve. He failed. He hoped to weaken the transatlantic alliance. He failed. He hoped to split apart American democracies in terms of our positions. He failed. The American people are united. The world is united, and we stand with the people of Ukraine. We will not let autocrats and would-be emperors dictate the direction of the world. Democracies are rising to meet this moment, rallying the world to the side of peace and the side of security. We're showing our strength, and we will not falter. God bless all of you. God bless Ukraine, and God bless our troops.
The White House has said that Russia may use chemical weapons or create a false flag operation to use them. What evidence have you seen showing that? And would the U.S. have a military response if Putin does launch a chemical weapons attack?
I'm not going to speak about the intelligence, but Russia would pay a severe price if they use chemicals.
Mr. President. The federal gas tax. Will this make Putin stop his war?
Good morning. Sorry to keep you waiting. I've just spoken for some time with President Zelensky of Ukraine. I told him, as I have each and every time we've spoken, the United States stands with the people of Ukraine and as they bravely fight to defend their country, and they are doing that. And as Putin continues his merciless assault, the United States and our allies and partners continue to work in lockstep to ramp up the economic pressures on Putin and to further isolate Russia on the global stage. Later today, together with other NATO allies in the G7, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the United Kingdom, as well as the European Union, we're going to jointly announce several new steps to squeeze Putin and hold him even more accountable for his aggression against Ukraine. And I want to speak to a few of those points today. First, each of our nations is going to take steps to deny most favored nation status to Russia. Now, most favored nation status designation means two countries have agreed to trade with each other under the best possible terms. Low tariffs, few barriers of trade, and the highest possible imports allowed. In the United States, we call this permanent normal trade relations, PNTR, but it's the same thing. Revoking PNTR for Russia is going to make it harder for Russia to do business with the United States, and doing it in unison with other nations that make up half of the global economy will be another crushing blow to the Russian economy. It's already suffering very badly from our sanctions. But standing for democracy in Ukraine, pushing Russia's aggression, should not be one of those issues. Many issues divide us in Washington, but standing for democracy in Ukraine, pushing Russia's aggression, should not be one of those issues. The free world is coming together to confront Putin. Our two parties here at home are leading the way. And with that bipartisan cooperation, I'm looking forward to signing into law the bill revoking PNTR, which is, again, most people think of it as most favored nation status. We're also taking a further step of banning imports of goods from several signature sectors of the Russian economy, including seafoods, vodka, and diamonds. And we're going to continue to squeeze Putin. The G7 will seek to deny Russia the ability to borrow from leading multinational institutions, such as the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. Putin is an aggressor. He is the aggressor, and Putin must pay the price. He cannot pursue a war that threatens the very foundations, which he's doing, the very foundations of international peace and stability, and then ask for financial help from the international community. The G7 is also stepping up pressure on corrupt Russian billionaires. We're adding new names to the list of oligarchs and their families that we're targeting. And we're increasing coordination among the G7 countries to target and capture their ill-begotten gains. They support Putin. They steal from the Russian people, and they seek to hide their money in our countries. They're part of that kleptocracy that exists in Moscow, and they must share in the pain of these sanctions. And while we're going after these their super yachts and their vacation homes and worth hundreds of millions of dollars, we're also going to make it harder for them to buy high-end products manufactured in our country. We're banning the export of luxury goods to Russia. They're also the latest steps we're taking, but they're not the last steps we're going to take. And as I said, at the beginning of all these steps, we're going to hit Putin harder because the United States and our closest allies and partners are acting in unison. And the totality of our sanctions and export controls is crushing the Russian economy. Steps we're going to take. And as I said, at the beginning of all these steps, we're going to hit Putin harder because the United States and our closest allies and partners are acting in unison.
The meeting that the President and I had today was a very productive meeting to reaffirm the strength of the relationship and friendship between the United States and Romania. I've said many times, including this afternoon with the President and the President's leadership, but around the world, and I will say it here, America's commitment to Article 5 is ironclad. We take very seriously our role and the relationships that we have within the NATO alliance. We take seriously and are prepared to act on the words we speak when we say, an attack against one is an attack against all. We are firm in our commitment. When I say, and we say over and over again, President Joe Biden says, we will defend every inch of NATO territory. I am present in Romania today to reaffirm that commitment, in addition to thanking the President, your leadership, and the people of Romania. The strength of our alliance has endured and is now bigger and stronger than ever. The strength of our alliance includes our mutual commitment to stand on the principles that we hold dear and share, that include the defense of the sovereignty and territorial integrity of independent states, and in this case, Ukraine. We are clear that the work that is to be done in response to Putin's war includes standing strong within the alliance to support the needs of our partners. To demonstrate our commitment as the United States, in recent weeks, we sent a 1,000-member Stryker squadron that creates a total force of 2,000 American troops who are prepared to stand in defense of our commitment to the NATO alliance and the eastern flank. We have reinforced our recent commitments, all with the mention and with the meaning of strengthening our deterrence and our collective defense.